I'm doing all of the affirmations that I need to do, and I'm doing all the manifestation work that I should do, but nothing is really working, and I don't really get why. So today we're going to be talking about why your manifestation and affirmation work is probably not working for you if you're a neurodivergent person. When you're a neurodivergent person, a lot of the advice you're going to be getting out there from the internet is probably not going to be applicable to you, because the way that you manifest is going to be different. And the way that you manifest is actually going to be so different that when you start applying your manifestation techniques in a way that works for neurodivergence, you're actually going to be able to use your neurodivergence as a superpower that helps you manifest better and quicker. And the first reason your manifestations and affirmations are probably not working is because the way you're saying them is not true. I'm the type of person that I will be able to tell if someone is lying very quickly. It's one of my neurodivergent superpowers. And if you're neurodivergent, you probably also have that sense of justice and superpower within you that rings very loud bells within you when you see someone who's clearly lying, or someone who's clearly pretending to be someone they're not, or someone who's saying something that's just completely untrue. Well, that also applies to your inner self. When you're someone who is in the mirror saying, I am a millionaire. I believe that I will make millions of dollars tomorrow. I am a trillionaire. I am extremely rich. And you literally have $2 to your name. Your body will absolutely be able to feel that dissonance between what you are and what you're trying to tell yourself. You cannot be telling yourself as a neurodivergent affirmations that are not true. And what I mean by that is not that you cannot become a millionaire or that you cannot strive to get the life that you really want. It just means that you need to say affirmations that are actually reliable, that your body trusts, because it is very easy to get that feeling in your body that this is definitely a little fishy. I know for a fact that I myself tried to do it for a long time. I was someone who would stand in the mirror and be like, I am the happiest person in the whole world. And I was definitely not the happiest person. My body was just signaling to me, hey, this is wrong. And after I was done saying my affirmations, I actually became a little more sad, because I'm like, I'm saying all of this stuff to myself and it's not true. So I feel a little worse because I'm not really getting anywhere. I'm just telling myself something that I'm not. When you're neurodivergent and you want to do affirmations, you need to do something and tell yourself stuff that is true, that is stuff you're actually working on. So instead of, for example, saying, I am the happiest person in the world, you say, I am working on making myself happier every single day. Instead of saying, I am a millionaire, you say, I am working to become wealthier every single day. Instead of saying, I have the life that I really want, you're saying, I really work hard to create the life that I deserve. When you're neurodivergent and you want to use affirmations, it is important that you use neurodivergence in a positive light. So it is important that you train your brain to view your neurodivergence as a positive thing. This does not mean that you're getting rid of all of your struggles and that you're never going to see any struggles from being neurodivergent. That is not true. You can struggle while still trying to become better in your neurodivergence. So some of the affirmations that you can start singing and then you can start, modifying to your own benefit is, instead of running around and thinking, oh, my neurodivergence is keeping me down, my neurodivergence is keeping me from being the person that I really want. You sit down and you say, my neurodivergence is something that I've been given for a reason. My neurodivergence is something that I work on every single day to make a tool that I can use positively. My neurodivergence is a skill that I've been given that can help me achieve my goals. And when you sit down and say those affirmations to yourself every single day, it might take a little while for your brain to actually believe what you're saying, because sometimes it's about training that neuroplasticity to actually believe what you're saying. It is not wrong. It's not like saying you're a millionaire when you only have $2. It is actually understanding that you have powers within you that you have to learn to use. You can also say, my neurodivergence is a power that I'm learning to use every single day to my own benefit. That might ring a little bit more true in your own ears. But if you're someone who's running around telling yourself, I feel so bad because I'm neurodivergent, everything is so hard because I'm neurodivergent, That's something that you're going to be echoing within your own head again and again and again. And it's going to make you stuck. And it's going to make you seek out other neurodivergent people who feel like that. And that is going to even heighten it more and make you feel like even more that this is a mentality to have, to be stuck in this victim mentality, because you don't deserve this victim mentality. You are much better than a victim mentality. Your life can be so many things, but it is so easy for neurodivergent persons to be stuck in a mentality of things are wrong, or I'm not doing right, or I'm definitely in the wrong here, and I must be feeling different, and I am different, and it's a bad thing to be different. That's a thought pattern that you can get stuck in very easily, because society is set up in a way that makes us feel like every little mistake we do, or every little thing that's actually neurodivergent and can be a really, really good strength, is something that goes against societal norms. And that way it makes you feel like you're an absolute, you don't fit in, you're not right. And that's what they actually want you to think. So you don't deserve to think like that, because you can do what you want to do. You can get the life that you really want. So it is important that you sit down and you retrain your brain to view your neurodivergence as a positive tool. And the thing about tools is that they're not always going to work the same way. I have a MacBook, and not saying that neurodivergence is the same as a MacBook, but I have times where my MacBook is not doing what I need it to do. And it breaks down, and I have to wait an hour before I use it again, because I'm trying to run 30 different software on it at the same time. I'm trying to edit videos. I'm trying to do homework. I'm trying to do everything on my computer at once. And of course it's going to break down. Of course it's not going to work for me. But at other times, my MacBook is a fantastic tool that I can use to better myself, and I can use programs that really make my life easier. Shout out ChatGPT. And that's the same way you got to think about your neurodivergence. You're going to have moments where things are just going to be hard, and that's okay. That is fine. That's something you need to accept. It's okay to be mad about your neurodivergence giving you problems, but if you dwell on it, and if that's the only thing you can focus on, then you are not going to be able to see all of the beautiful and amazing things that neurodivergence can do for you. So think of your neurodivergence as a MacBook that sometimes has a little too many tabs open, and sometimes you just need to close them down and say, you know what, we're not going to do that right now. It's okay. It doesn't work. But when it does work, it's great. The next thing I think is really important for you to focus on when it comes to manifesting and doing affirmations, when it comes to being neurodivergent, is it is very important that you focus on not punishing yourself. And that's a pattern that I definitely recognize a lot. I'm the type of person, I'm very impulsive. I like going and buying stuff for myself. For a long time, I would put myself down severely if I went out and bought something that I really wanted. I'd be like, no, you have to save all your money now because you went out and bought something you really wanted. Or you really made a mistake here, and now you need to do 40 hours of work to make up for it so you never make this mistake again. Or you thought a bad thought, now you need to punish yourself. And in reality, that's only going to take you further down. It's not going to elevate you. It's not going to give you more strength as a neurodivergent who's trying to manifest. It's just going to make it worse. And that's why it's really important that when you are doing affirmations work, when you are doing manifestation work, all of this good stuff, you don't punish yourself for making mistakes. You understand that life is a pendulum. Things aren't going to be bad. Things are going to be good. You are going to make mistakes. No one got to master the skills that they have without making mistakes. So you need to make space for mistakes. And you need to actually tell yourself as a part of your affirmations, I am going to make mistakes, but it is okay, and I will learn from those mistakes. Instead of telling yourself, you made a mistake, you'll never recover from this. You can control your second thought, but you can't control your first thought. When you start thinking something, or when a thought pops up in your head, whether that is negative, whether that is positive, whatever it is, you can't control the first thought that you have, but you can control your second thought, and your second thought can correct that thought. And the more you correct your thoughts, and the more that you tell yourself, you know what, it is okay to feel bad. It is okay to feel this type of way. It is okay to make mistakes. I'm actually happy that I make mistakes. It helps me learn. The more you tell yourself that after you make a mistake or after you put yourself down for doing something, the more you're going to be more and more comfortable with just telling yourself, oh, you know what? I made a mistake. It's okay. You will still recognize that you made a mistake. You'll still be able to use that mistake to make yourself better, but you won't be immediately going to tell yourself, oh, you're a terrible person for making that mistake. That's something I did for a long time. That's a mistake I made for a long time. I would punish myself severely mentally for doing things that just didn't have a good outcome for me, and it brought me nothing good. But instead, I tried to course correct, and I started telling myself, it's okay. You made a mistake, you learn, you live, and eventually, when I make mistakes now, the first thing I tell myself is not, oh, you're terrible, you made a mistake. The first thing I tell myself is, you know what? It's okay. You made a mistake. Let's move on. What did we learn from something that was slightly traumatic? No, you make mistakes. That's okay. But if you keep beating yourself up about it, it's going to be really hard for you to manifest that life, because if you want to manifest success, if you want to manifest a life where you're getting the treatment that you really want, if you're constantly beating yourself up about the mistakes that you make or the little things that you're trying to tiptoe around, then people are going to sniff that out. People are going to sniff out that you don't have that inner confidence and that your inner clock is not willing for you to tell yourself that it's okay. And people are going to be able to take advantage of that. So it is very important that you actually strengthen that part of your brain that tells you it is okay to make mistakes, because not all people will give you the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, you know what? It's okay to feel bad. A lot of people will think that person feels bad about themselves, and I can use that to make them do stuff for me. I can use that to boost my own ego. And before you know it, you're going to be deep into people pleasing someone. And that's the next thing I'm going to be talking about. And that is people pleasing. If you are a neurodivergent person who is a people pleaser, which is very common for neurodivergent people to be because we're trying our best to fit into society, the person you should be people pleasing is not people. It is you. When you get into a situation where you feel like, oof, maybe I should do a little extra to make them feel good, try to tell yourself, I know it can be hard, but it is something you need to train. Okay, what can I do to make myself feel good right now? What can I do to make myself feel better? Because a lot of the time, people, especially neurotypicals, have no idea that they're making you feel bad about yourself. They have no idea that some of the things they're saying are actually making you feel a little insecure about whether you're able to fit in or not. Neurotypicals don't grow up neurodivergent. They don't know how we feel so deeply. They don't know how it feels to constantly have to watch out for their own behavior. They don't know what it feels like to mask so that people don't question you. That's something that they don't think twice about. They just think, oh, you know what? I did really great today. A lot of them do, at least. I did really great today. That's because I'm amazing. Or, oh, I feel bad. What can I do to make myself feel better? When you're neurodivergent, you have a sense of super empathy and sympathy that you will most likely be trying to use on other people because you want their approval. You want them to make you feel good. But in reality, the way that you make yourself feel good and the way that you tap into manifesting and becoming the person that you really want to be is by taking the heightened sympathy and taking the heightened empathy that you have and then turning it onto yourself, saying, why do I feel like the way that I'm feeling right now? You have to think of yourself as the inner child. The inner child is one of the best analogies to use when it comes to neurodivergence and manifesting, because a lot of people forget that we need to take care of our basic needs and our basic mental health, all of this, before we can be able to manifest. If you have a hard time getting out of bed every single day, it's going to be really hard for you to manifest your dream life. And that's okay. That's not where you are right now. But when you spend all your time trying to make everyone else happy, then you lose a sense of care that you need to focus on yourself. If you are a neurodivergent person, maybe you grew up in a household with parents that didn't understand your needs, and instead of making your needs clear, you just made sure that your parents didn't feel bad, that your parents didn't feel like they had to work extra hard, so you accommodated them. And essentially, you made yourself grow up a lot quicker than you needed to. And you became very good at spotting other people's ooh, she's having a little bit of an emotional outburst today. You could spot the smallest little differences in people. And that's something you need to be able to focus on yourself. Ooh, I'm feeling slightly different today than I did yesterday. What that person said made me feel slightly different. What does that mean? You don't have to overanalyze it, which you probably will. I know I will. But it is important that you sit down and turn that empathy and sympathy that you've been trained to put on other people onto yourself. I've said it a lot of times, but it's important to remember. You have to think of yourself as your own child. What would you do if your child felt that way? And the reason that you need to think of yourself as your own child when it comes to manifesting is because the easiest way for you to manifest is when you're at peace, is when you're happy with where you are. And children, they don't really understand the future. They don't really understand the past. They just understand the now. And if you're not able to accommodate your inner child, the now, then it will be very hard for you to be satisfied with anything in the future, because you'll be constantly trying to live up to what other people say, what you tell yourself, that inner voice, instead of just trying to accommodate the inner child that just needs to be told that things are okay. Figure it out. That's good. You're doing a great job. So anytime you're in a situation where you're thinking things are going to become overwhelming and you feel like the progress you're going to be making is going to be lost or whatever it is, because that's going to happen on your manifestation journey. It's important that you sit down and think, if I was a kid right now that was feeling this type of way, what would I tell this kid? Because you most likely wouldn't tell them, you're terrible, you can't figure out anything. You would tell them, it's okay. And that's what you need to hear. You need to hear what you would tell your inner child. And once you tell your inner child what you need to hear, your inner child will become at peace. And your inner child will be grateful. And that gratefulness and that happiness and that inner peace will grow. And that will make it much easier for you to start manifesting the life that you really want. Because suddenly you can rely on yourself. If you can't rely on yourself, if you can't trust yourself, you will make bad decisions because you will constantly be telling yourself whatever you're doing is not right. I don't trust you. So you'll be making decisions that defy that. And those decisions are not right. They'll most likely take you on a path that will bring you down. Because then you'll start questioning everything around you because you didn't trust yourself first and foremost. Now you can't trust everything around you. And then you'll end up becoming very indecisive. And indecisive people are very easy to manipulate. And when you're very easy to manipulate, you know what happens? Then society that sees that neurodivergent people are very easy to manipulate, they come in and swoop you up. And they say, how can we turn this person into someone who's doing stuff for us to make us feel better? Because that's how society thinks. How can we feel better? How can we be better? And then they take neurodivergent people and they make them work for them. They use their heightened empathy. They use their instincts, and they use that feeling of not being able to fit in to make it so that, well, if you don't do all of this for us, you won't fit in. And then neurodivergents are very eager to jump on that bait because they don't want to feel like they're outsiders or anything. You have to be able to facilitate the feeling of being calm, being happy, being okay, being good within yourself, so that society can't take advantage of that. So that society can't turn you into someone who is using all of your energy on them. Because society will. If you are insecure and if you are someone who is very unstable, society will try to take advantage of that. And then they will make you believe that you can't live a life full, that you can't do the things that you want to do because you are neurodivergent. And it's important that we do not make society believe that that is true. We need to learn how to use our neurodivergence as a superpower so that we can break free from the system that they created for us. That is not working for us. It's just keeping us in the same cycle. I hope that you are able to use some of the things that I've been talking about in today's video to help you turn your neurodivergence into a superpower and use it in a favorable way to manifest, to do affirmations, all of this good stuff, because it is possible. And I know for a fact that it's possible because I do it and I have been seeing amazing results for many, many years. I've done it over many, many different eras of my life, and it is easy to get lost. But when you need a little bit of a push or need a little bit of a reminder that you can do it, you can double back to this video. If there's anything you want me to elaborate about, make sure you leave a comment. I would love to elaborate. I love going on special interest rants about some of the things that I really like to talk about. I also want to make sure that this community fosters some of the questions that you guys have, because I totally believe that we're not alone. I know for a fact that there are so many neurodivergent people out there that have so much potential, and it's just not tapped into because they don't know how. And we're going to make that possible. I'm so grateful for you being here today. I'm so happy that we're able to have these conversations. And I know for a fact that it's only going to get better from here. So I love you guys. And I'm so happy to see you circling back to my videos over and over again. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.